For 3 decades, power in South Africa has had a 3-letter name, the ANC, the African National Congress, the political party of Nelson Mandela, a symbol of liberation from white minority rule and the downfall of apartheid. For those 30 years, the ANC has won election after election after election, but this time, maybe not. A host of smaller parties is giving the ANC a run for its money in tomorrow's election. Polls show that for the first time, the ANC could fall below 50%, potentially signaling a new era for one of Africa's most powerful nations.
All our eyes are on whether the ANC will get 50+1, and if they don't, we are then beginning to imagine what would a coalition government mean for South Africa.
What's behind the shift? Intense dissatisfaction with how life is going in South Africa. In the first years after apartheid, many voters credited the ANC with improving conditions for the poorest South Africans. The economy became more fair, especially for blacks.
People felt like things were getting better. For the last 10 to 15 years, that's plateaued. And so there has been real rise in frustration with the government.
It's easy to see why. Unemployment is hovering around an astounding 32%, the highest in the world. An energy crisis has triggered rolling blackouts across the country, and the ANC blamed for failing to rein in corruption and runaway violent crime. And then there's the issue of race and lingering inequality.
I think one important fact, we haven't really transcended, the issue of race as a country. And this continues to play itself out, especially when young people are looking at the opposition parties and positioning themselves and trying to decide in terms of which political party can actually represent their interests.
And for people under age 30, they've never known any government other than the ANC.
For most of us that are in uni now, we've never voted before. So we would like to see something happen, because ever since I existed, I don't know, maybe my parents, I've never seen anything that is of change.
Josh Letterman is joining us now. So Josh, what happens if the ANC were to fall short of 50%?
Well, it wouldn't be game over for the party necessarily, Hallie, because they are still likely to be the largest vote getter, right? They'd have what we call a plurality. And so the most likely thing that would happen next is the ANC would have to negotiate with one or more of those smaller parties to form a coalition. Now, that could significantly affect how the ANC is able to govern going forward. And it also would likely open up the floodgates to more political competition in the future, with a lot of voters saying, look, we understand the ANC has this huge legacy and history associated with liberation, but now we know that there are other parties that we can choose from as well. Now, after the voters go to the polls tomorrow, we're not expecting to get the full and final official results until Sunday, but based on the early projections that should start to come out, we will likely know which way this race is going to go within the next day or two. Hallie?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.